So, Khosh
Please proceed.
I served in the Peace Corps in Iran in Semnan, 1966 to 67. I was Mr. Duck. That's how they knew me. I'm going to show you a little bit of what Semnan looked like from the perspective or through the lens of an American 23-year-old, or was I 21, 22, whatever. Okay, here we go. I got in the Peace Corps because of John Kennedy. I was in high school when he gave this speech, and that just grabbed me. And it's been with me ever since. Since then, 230,000 people have served in the Peace Corps around the world. And 1,358 at last count served in Iran. One of my jobs is to help try to find people who served in Iran as Peace Corps volunteers, because there's no official list. So it's been kind of interesting to watch it build. 3 goals for the Peace Corps. One was technical assistance. It did not take me long to figure out that Iran didn't need that. Too many skills in Iran as it was, relative to what some of us have. A better understanding of Americans on the part of other countries. And that theory was that by meeting Americans, learning your language, you would come to appreciate the fact that we were not gangsters and we were not movie stars. And we were individuals, as people. And same way the other way. And our third job was to come back home and tell Americans what we had learned about the world. So part of what I've done over the years has been to promote that. What is, oh, did I go too far? Okay. I did, didn't I?
It jumped forward a few slides,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, it won't go backwards. So we have third goal needs, we try to tell people what we know about the world. That's not what they think in the newspapers or television. I was a 6th grade teacher, and every year I had an Iran day. And when I was where I was State University is in Ames, we had students from Iran come to the class. A highlight, the most common question the kids had was, how do boys meet girls? Well, I couldn't tell them, I couldn't explain much about Bangladesh. And there's something about with the chador where you kind of give it to the wind.
Yeah.
I saw that too. But I found that the highlight of the day was when they played soccer. So that's a universal language. I'm also a member of the Peace Corps Iran Association. We formed that in 2011 to try to promote better understanding. And we need it more now, probably than ever. Well, 5 hours by Jeep from Tehran. This is my first view of Semnan. Can you see it?
Not yet.
Right there.
That's it. Oh.
That's the dustiest road trip I've ever taken. Today it's a 4-lane highway.
Yeah.
Are you going to behave for me
I
now?
think you have to hit escape to get it out of that mode, and then you can,
What happened?
it's in a weird mode. There you go. Now you can go forward.
When we arrived, we went to this house. Visto Yek Chiabani Ferdosi. And it had thick adobe walls. I'd never been in an adobe house before. We were lucky we had a running water, we had a tap for water. We had an ashpaz khane, a little kitchen, probably the size of that bathroom back there. And a courtyard garden. Notice there's no refrigerator. I only saw one refrigerator when I was in Iran. in Semnan, and that was at the home of an English teacher. And in Mustara, one of my kids asked me, do they have toilet paper in Iran? Yes. But people don't use it. Oh, that got them very excited, I'll tell you. Trying to figure that one out. We had a solar-powered clothes dryer. Can you see it? Latest technology. It's up on the roof.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the first volunteer there was from Seattle, and he put this up on the house. That's a totem from the Northwest Pacific, and I understand that the people in Semnan thought we were crazy. They didn't know what that was, but they knew that that's where we were. And on the day I took this picture, that is black bunting, and that's the picture of John Kennedy. That's the day he was assassinated. Well, 3 years later. The view from the roof. So I went up there and took pictures, and it's beautiful. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to tell you about that boy. He's one of our neighbors. He's looking east. This is the main road to Damgon. Every truck leaves behind a trail of dust. When Darius was fleeing from Alexander, he went up that road. He left in the morning. That night, Alexander showed up in Semnan. And he grabbed a shepherd and said, you find me another way, because that's all crowded with people. The shepherd took him around on the south side of the mountains. That's where the railroad track is now. Kind of interesting. There's an English guy who did that, following the footsteps. This young man died about a month after we got there. And we were part of the funeral. And that was an amazing experience. Our mama and her elder, or the oldest daughter, spent 40 days just wailing and crying. It's not something I had seen before. She could not be comforted. Well, you know about this place because it's on the advertisement here. That's the gate from what, Qajar dynasty. This was an Ustaf, I think. I thought it was an Abambar, but I was corrected recently. They're cleaning out the mud. That's where our family lived. We lived in their house right behind there. I posted this on a Facebook page about Zabuni Semnani. I said Iran, Semnan, 1967. And all kinds of comments came back. What? Where is this? We've never seen this. What's going on here? Our parents never told us about that. And I said it was on Chiyabani Ferdowsi. There is no such street as Chiyabani Ferdowsi. So, where's it come from? Over there. Okay. So apparently I caused quite a bit of consternation for those young people. This is in my room. I had red, white, and blue. The red is this little line right here. I put pictures. I had a typewriter. That doubles as a guest seat in my bed. Now, one little thing here is that's my shortwave radio that I built before I came over to Iran, so I could hear the news. And of course, we had oranges, choy, este. It was, and those are the guys that worked in our office where I was. Have you heard of the Eidare Omran?
Yes.
Okay, I was with the Eidare Omran. Well, the first night we were there, I had my first pomegranate. I'd never had a pomegranate before. And was delicious. Just amazed me. And we went out to Zavagon. Zavagon would be a western suburb of Semnan. They had a flash flood 3 days earlier. This is what was there. It was really sad what had happened to those houses. The guy in the lower picture with the mustache is George. He was a Peace Corps volunteer, and he was put in charge of trying to design some housing to replace the mud adobe. Okay, here you go, 4 monkeys. Jim was the first one to get the Semnan. He was there a year before we got there. George and I came, and we worked at Oberon. Then David came, and he worked on the school project that we got involved in. Now, these two guys are architects, and I'm a philosophy major. But I could handle myself on a draft board fairly well. George and I spent 3 nights in the, is it a Morizistan? Shirohoshi?
Bimaristan.
We were really sick. Bimaristan, thank you. And then we invited Mashallah to join us. He'd been a cook for Americans before, and he said he wasn't giving us Iranian food, it was Mashallah food. And then I gained weight after I'd lost a lot there. Jim taught English up in Sangsar, but he was really a mountain climber. And in the process, he found a school up in the mountains or a village that needed a school, or maybe a school that needed to be built. I was amazed at the bazaar. In the summer, it's cool inside. In the winter, it's kind of warm. It's not uncomfortable. I didn't take many pictures in the bazaar, but it's a very simple bazaar. I had never seen a Persian carpet before. Never. And I was intrigued to see how they were making it. I was also intrigued at the fact it was little girls who should have been in school who were making it. In our office, we had about 3 or 4 rooms. This is the guys who went out to the villages and worked with the village elders, the Kakura and the other people. This is Mohandas Hassanain. He and one other guy were the engineers for the office, and then George and I worked with him. Ali Aga and Khazem. Well, Ali Aga comes and brings tea. Oh, this is neat. From out of nowhere, here comes a guy and he brings me tea. At the end of the month, he comes by with a big smile on his face, and he's got a piece of paper and some numbers. That's how much I owed for the tea. And the guys in this office would buzz a buzzer. He'd go in, they'd give him a paper, and he'd bring it over to the guy in the office next door. That's the way it was. Ali Aga, by the way, played clarinet. And I've got a recording of that. You might hear later on. Sangak. Oh, thank you for the Sangak. This woman is rolling out the bread, and then there's a guy who takes it, puts it on this big mitt, you know, slaps it up into the tandoor, and takes a hook and pulls it out. My job each morning was to go get 3 pieces of Sangak. And then I would go here and I would get some butter.
Yeah.
Sometimes we had honey, sometimes jelly, you know, whatever to go with it. But that was always, I just did that. I'm an early bird. There was another guy that came after me and took my room. His name was Doug also. And George told him, it's your job to go get the Sangak every morning. George didn't know what really happened until we met a few years ago. So that's the way it goes. Some construction. a little arch that collapsed with the zelzaleh, a jack arch. I had never seen anything like that. 5.5 bricks with gatch and some, what's in there, some lime and maybe some clay. Bang, 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 5 bricks. Smear it on and go again. I saw them doing it in 2014 too. So that intrigued me. This is a construction project for Schermer1. One day these guys came and dug holes in our roof. And then they put a new layer of mud on the roof. I guess that's like shingles. But it was real interesting to me to see how they did that. I'd never thought about what goes on the roof of an adobe house before. Well, we were out in the desert. I was fascinated by this thing. You know what's at the end of the rope?
Bucket.
A bucket.
Yeah.
You know what's going on.
Yeah.
Someone's down in there, he's cleaning